If you're a service-based business owner, there are very few ways that are more helpful and effective and have a compounding effect in growing your business than getting the business owner in video ads behind their business. Whenever we get the business owner on the landing page, whether it's just in still images or in videos, or in the ads, whether it's in still images or videos, there is always a positive effect on all the edges that you want to go up. So those edges being what's the click-through rate, what's the conversion rate. However, most business owners, they just hate the idea of being on video because it's really, I don't know why it is. You do videography, so you probably experience this. It's weird when you speak English your entire life, but as soon as you just like someone's recording, it's like you've never spoken a word in your life. You're just like, and like that's what you actually sound like when you're. It's bizarre, and so we had to do all these coaching processes with like clients, like if we're filming content with them, where I'll like write the script for them, and then it's awful. I'm like, okay, cool, that didn't work. So we've got to like prompt them with questions, so it's like more of a conversation. It's really weird. There's some really easy ways to create video content for your ads to generate more leads, to generate more appointments. Now, the easiest way to do it, actually one of the benefits of doing it yourself is because you're the business owner, one of the things I mentioned in the previous video was you have so much customer insight because you talk to your customers and your prospects all day long. So that's why when like Aiden comes over, we'll rattle out like 30 ads in an hour because I'll just start picking towards and away from motivators. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So one of the first exercises we get our With You members to do in our 2-day Launchpad workshop, link in the description, is we get you to draw a custom avatar and then you make him sad because he hasn't bought your stuff yet. And then there's some stuff you write underneath, like the targeting stuff and all that stuff. But humans are like mice, there's little bits of cheese they're chasing after, but there's cats they're running away from as well. And so you've got towards and away from motivators, right? So you've got pain and pleasure, or pleasure and pain. And then what we get them to do is write down all the things they're moving towards when purchasing your product and away from when purchasing your product. So let's say, for example, okay, so I'll use an easy one. I used to run a DJ school, and well, now I have a producer school in the US, but I used to run a DJ school here in Australia, and we'd teach kids, well, not kids, teenagers in early 20s, how to DJ clubs in an actual club during the day when they weren't being used. Now, what my competitors were doing in their ads on their headlines was like, we will teach you how to DJ. It's like, that is a very, very poor headline. Like, and you obviously have not been doing this for a while, and that's why I probably won. What a great headline would be was, what are they moving towards when they want to actually learn how to DJ? They want to play clubs. They want to play festivals. It has nothing to do with, if you don't know, DJing is just counting to four times, pressing play at the right time, and then doing overcomplicated volume control. Not that hard. You learn how to play clubs, you learn how to play festivals, and then what we do is we ask, why? And the why might be they'd been to one and they looked at the stage and went, that looks fun. So the why would be like previous experiences. And then you might go why again. And then another why might be literally just like social validation from friends. Or they want to be on stage. That was a big one for us. The away from motivators would literally just be, it's usually like a 9 to 5 that they hate. Or it might be like getting to their mid-30s and looking back on their youth and wishing that they'd at least rolled the dice and becoming a local DJ or a touring DJ or something like that. Or it might be, well, for me, actually, I'm getting into the sales process now. When we did the sales process for the Institute, which is the name of the DJ school, we do towards motivators first. And so it would be like, hey, like you mentioned you want to play nightclubs, surprise, surprise. Like if you had to think of 3 nightclubs you wanted to play at, what would they be? And they go like Metropolis, Fremantle, this one, this one. And then you ask why? And you get them to talk about their towards motivators in real detail. And then we do away from motivators. But before we did the away from motivators, we get the sales rep. He had me, Joseph, who sits like behind this whiteboard. He's not in today though. Or I think we had like 2 other sales reps as well. We get them to tell their own personal away from story of why they became a DJ. And so mine, I can still remember it a decade later. Decade? Half a decade. I'm old. My one was, hey, thanks for sharing all of that. Now, like I said at the start of this call, we're trying to work out what's motivating you. And when it comes to human motivation, you've basically got 2 categories. You've got towards and away from motivators. So towards, I'm in script now, by the way. Towards motivators are things you're moving towards, like playing at clubs, playing at festivals, all that stuff. Away from motivators are things you're moving away from. And so if I was to tell a personal story, we'd tell the personal story. My last real job was I was a waiter at the Atrium Buffet at Crown. Do you know the place? They go, yeah. We go, yeah, food is really good, but I fucking hated working there. And it came up to Christmas time of, I think it was 2013, 2014. And they were asking all the staff, like, what, like, their availability was and to update it. And at the time, I was actually DJing all the school balls at Pan Pacific Hotel. Fun fact, June 2025 this year, we're going to be holding the largest with you to date with 100 people at the Pan Pacific Hotel. So my crowd's going to be slightly different there this time. And I told my manager at the Atrium Buffet at Crown, you know, I'm DJing these school balls and I'm making more money and I'm frankly having more fun. And they said everyone that either can't work Fridays or Saturdays either has to make themselves available or reconsider their employment. And so I went, well, I reconsidered it and I handed in my resignation letter. And so it gave me this really strong away from motivator that was like, Brandon, like you have to make this DJ thing work now or else you're going back to a job that you hate. And that was the human motivator. And then we get them to ask their motivator, and it was usually something that sounds like, yeah, like I always remember this one person hated their manager at Nando's. I don't know why I still remember it to this day, but it's like they hate their manager at Nando's. Their friends or family said they couldn't do it. They don't want to get to their mid-30s or their mid-40s and look back and go, oh, I could have like played on stage and stuff like that. Like all these massive reasons. And then all of these core away from and towards motivators are ultimately what got them to enroll in the industry in the DJ school. So what we need to do first is get really clear on all these towards and away from motivators. And then the structure that you do for your video ads, hook, prove, tell. Now what this means is hook, you hook them for the video, you all know this by now. Prove is prove your point. 3 is tell them what to do next. So for example, if we just applied hook, prove your point, tell them what to do next, we could pick any, basically all you do for the hook, the easiest way to come up with a hook is just pick towards or away from motivators and then talk about them and how you achieve them or move them away from it. And then you tell them what to do next, which is typically just click below to learn more or something like that, right? So if we picked play clubs and festivals, what that video ad might sound like. If you've been stuck in the crowd in a nightclub and you're wanting to be on stage instead, we teach aspiring DJs how to learn how to DJ clubs, international clubs during the day when it is at venues. You get taught one-on-one by an established local DJ in your area, so they actually teach you the ropes. And more importantly, the benefit of learning in a club instead of in your living room or something like that is you learn in the experience you're eventually going to be working in. And so if you want to see if you apply, if you want to see if you're qualified, click below to learn more. Because you'll notice that I stumbled there once. But most people, they think that they need to like one take their entire ad. Like when we do the With You program, show them how to make content, what I actually do is we get people to write the body of their ads before we actually do the content. I pick a random person in the room and go, just read your ad out to me. And then I'll follow this process and show them how like, hey, like I stumbled here, but I just go back. Like I don't go, and then like stop recording and start over again. Like, I have one take a lot of my ads, but I'm really experienced. Like you can just sit there and go, what's the next sentence? And then just cut it and then just cut it and then just cut it, right? I'll leave you one more point on video content. I like testing as many things as quickly as possible. So most business owners, they just do one ad and go, I'm going to test that and see what happens. But they don't have something to test it against to reference. So let's say, for example, you run ad 1, ad 2, right? And this one doesn't do too well, but this one does well. Then you'll look at, okay, what happened in this one? I'm going to try and do something similar. And so you'll run ad 2 again, and now ad 3. But now, ad 3 does better, and ad 2 doesn't do as well. And so you just constantly keep like digging in certain directions. So for example, I know a lot of you have been like not following, I forced it onto your news feeds, but forced onto your news feeds my ads. A lot of you probably recall the ad from 2021 where I'm in the hoodie. And at the start, I'm just like, I can't believe I had to record this ad. That was the ad where I realized I was also just genuinely grumpy that day, by the way. We realized that grumpier Brandon is, the better our ads perform. And so what we actually did was to emotionally prime me. We always film my ads on the last day before I went on holiday because I was the most stressed and the most agitated. And so that was just our testing formula. Then we just start split testing different emotions. So we had ads where I was just like tired and depressed and we tested that. We had ones where I was just like attacking people in the comments. We just started doing all these test variations to get to what is essentially our brand now and was successful. So if you want to learn how to do all this stuff, create ads that just frankly intimidate your worst and most rival competitor, like your arch nemesis, and it keeps them up at night. Click below, there's probably a link in the description so you can apply for With You and we can make your competitors my competitors.